Hare Krishna. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Never miss any updates.
नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की श्रील प्रभुपाद की। वेलकम टू भगवद गीता वर्कशॉप। टुडे we are going to discuss about second chapter of Bhagavad Gita titled Contents of Gita Summarized. In the first chapter, the war scene was described by saying that Arjuna feels compassionate towards his kinsmen and he decides not to fight. And this has set up a perfect platform for Krishna to deliver the great transcendental knowledge for the world. This chapter is a big chapter, second biggest chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It contains 72 slokas. In this class, we will discuss half of this chapter. Next half will be in the next session. This chapter is divided into 5 sections. Here we are going to discuss about 2 sections from slokas 1 to 30. So here the first section from 2.1 to 2.10. It describes Arjuna's further doubts and Arjuna's surrenderance towards Krishna. This second chapter is like agenda presentation. Just like when you present any topic to anybody, first generally you tell agenda and then you present the topic and then finally you summarize that. Similarly, in the same format Krishna is also telling, he is telling agenda of Bhagavad Gita. The main topics are there in the second chapter. In detail, you find in the coming chapters. The first sloka describes that Arjuna becomes very compassionate. His eyes are brimming with tears by seeing his one kinsman. Then, the first time Krishna speaks, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna speaks, and he tells that how has this impurity has come upon you? Anarajustam asvargyam. You are acting like an anarya. You are supposed to be Aryan. Aryan means the person who is having values in the life. Arjuna has learnt all dharmasastras and he practices in his life also. But suddenly it seems to be he is giving up his values. That's why Krishna describes you are acting like an anarya. Anarajustam asvargyam. So then Krishna says, give up this kind of petty weakness. Do not degrade to this impotence. Klabhyam masmagamaha padanayatat upapajyate. Kshudram hudadarbalyam tatyotishta parantapaha. Get up and fight. Directly Krishna is telling to Arjuna, give up this weakness. It does not befit you. Get up and fight, O Arjuna. So like that Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight. But still Arjuna is telling, on the opposite side I am seeing Bhishma and Drona. They are worthy of my worship. He is my grandfather. He is my guru who taught all this knowledge to me. The art of war. How can I fight against them? This is actually the problem for the Arjuna. In the first chapter, he is not revealing that, but here he is revealing. Then he says, it is better to beg and live like that than fighting with these great people, even though they are after worldly gains, but I cannot fight against them. It is better to beg and live. Okay. So to that extent, Arjuna is speaking. You can see the compassion of Arjuna towards his guru, grandfather, and kinsmen. So this is the quality of devotee. Devotee is generally very compassionate. He doesn't want to harm anybody, not even living entity. Okay. So this is the quality of Arjuna you are observing here. So then Arjuna says, I am confused. Still he remembers that his duty is to fight. But at the same time, by seeing these people, he is feeling compassion. He is struggling between duty and compassion. So he knows, in heart he knows that his duty is to fight. So he says he is confused. He doesn't know what to do now. So then Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. He says, up to now, the relation between Krishna and Arjuna is friendship relation. He used to joke with Krishna. He used to tease Krishna also, even though Krishna is Supreme Person of Godhead. He is having that kind of relation with the Lord. For the first time, Arjuna accepts Krishna as his guru and surrenders unto him. Okay. Then Krishna smiles at him. You are a great warrior, but you are speaking foolish words. So Krishna, starts smiling. Then Krishna says, Asochanana sochastam prajna vadamsha bhashase. You are talking like a learned man, but you are a fool, number one. Okay, you don't know for what you have to feel compassionate and what not. This is how Krishna scolds Arjuna. See the position of Arjuna. He is a great devotee. He knows all the Dharma Shastras he learnt in the Gurukula and he practiced also. But when the problem comes, when the problem is overwhelming, he can't be able to apply that knowledge. This is what the situation happens in our lives also many times. When problem comes, first of all, we don't know knowledge, we don't know Dharma Shastras. We may be knowing little what is good, what is bad. Even that also will dry up when the problem comes. That's why in our life we require a spiritual guide. Spiritual master is must for everybody. We are in ignorance. We don't know the full knowledge of the Shastras. Many people, when in the class I ask, have you read Bhagavad Gita? They never read Bhagavad Gita. Many people tell, I never read Bhagavad Gita. One person, to my surprise, I was shocked to hear that kind of reply. He is some 26, 27 years old. He used to go to temple also, regularly. He doesn't know that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. This is kind of, level many people are in. First of all, we don't know the knowledge at all. Even though we know, we cannot be proud because problem sometimes takes over our consciousness. We get into confusions and depressions in the life. That's why you need Guru. Because he knows the knowledge, he has seen the truth, he can guide us towards right direction. He is like a lighthouse. The direction of lighthouse is very much required for the ship in the ocean. It cannot see the seashore clearly. It can go in wrong direction altogether. So when the lighthouse is there, then it can correctly come towards the direction and reach the shore safely. Okay. So that's why we need to understand the spiritual knowledge and accept a bona fide spiritual master and then practice devotion, Krishna consciousness in his direction. Then coming to the second section. This from slokas 2.11 to 2.30. This is the Sankhya analysis of soul or Jnana Yoga. Krishna gives various arguments to Arjuna why he has to fight from the soul point of view. This knowledge of soul you will not find in any of our academics, from our LKG to PhD. You will find only in Bhagavad Gita. So such a great knowledge Krishna is going to tell here. All of you can please carefully hear. So Krishna says that every soul is individual. Natvevaham jatunasham nathanyeme janadipa. So Krishna is saying here that you, me and all the kings here, previously we existed and in future also we are going to exist. So Krishna is establishing individuality of soul. The soul exists in the past, and the future also it is going to continue. It is continuing to exist. It will never merge or disappear. So the individuality of soul always remains. So then there are going to be two important slokas. These are wonderful slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada would have told thousands of times these slokas. That sloka is 2.13. Dehinospin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tada dehantara prapti dhirastattana muhyati. So what Krishna is saying here, the soul continuously passes from the childhood to youth and then old age in the same body. When the body is no more supportive, it leaves the body and takes one more. This is called as death. And a sober person will not get bewildered by that kind of change. This aspect many people doesn't know. Western culture doesn't know, the soul transmigrating bodies. Bhagavad Gita reveals this. Okay. If you see a childhood photo, you must be hanging your childhood photos, say second year, third year, fourth year, especially first year photo. If you take photo now, if you compare, there will be no resemblance. The body is entirely changed. It is said that every 7 years body changes. Okay. So that means from boyhood to youthhood, body is changed totally. And then you will become little elderly person. Then you will become old totally. So body is changing continuously, but soul is remaining. That's what Krishna is telling. Soul passes from one body to one more body in the same life itself. And then when the body is no more supportive, body leaves. Soul leaves this body and takes one more body. This is called death. And for this kind of continuously changing bodies by the soul, dhiras tattana muhyati. Dhiras will not get bewildered by such kind of change. Many people use the word dhira. I am dhira, magadhira, like that. Some songs also are there and some films also are there. But what is exactly dhira? Krishna is telling here. He will not get bewildered by death. Just like you see the corona season, many people are dying. Some people are getting afraid. Some people are losing jobs. And then some people are dying. So by all these things, some people are getting afraid. I am getting some calls also. So we no need to bother about death. Already we have faced this many times in past lives. And then we'll face in this life also. Nobody can stop our death. In future also will continue to happen. Okay. So, but what is required is, you need to understand this knowledge. That is the credit of life. If you understand, then you can cross over this cycle of birth and death. That point, that's what we need to practice seriously. that you can do when you have this Atma Jnana. So that's what Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, 13th sloka. And then 14th sloka. This is one more very interesting sloka. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitosham sukadukkadaha agama payano anityas tam stitikshasva bharata. He says that in our life we'll face happiness and distress also. These are like summer and winter seasons. Few days back we experienced severe summer. Now heavy rains. Then you'll face chilling cold. Then again this cycle repeats. None of these seasons will remain with us always. Okay, they come and go. So similarly in our life also, sometimes we'll feel distress. This distress will not stay with us always. When some kind of problems, severe problems people face in their lives, when this kind of problem comes, they go to depression totally, disappointment, and they commit suicides also. It may be normal people, celebrities, or whatever, many people we see like that, students. Okay, we need to understand this sloka very, very clearly. None of the problems stay with us always. If you have the problem on Monday, it is going to end on Sunday, or in between that, or little more than that, maybe few weeks or few months. If it's a big problem, for few years, 1 or 2 years, that's it. If it is very, very big problem. But your life is 60, 75 years. Why we have to give up our life for a problem, a few days or few weeks or few months? We need to tolerate it. Tam titikshasva bharata. Krishna is telling we should learn to tolerate this kind of problems in the life. When we are discharging our duties, we will face obviously this kind of problems. The problems will not be staying with us always. We just need to learn to tolerate those things. Similarly, happiness also. It will not be there with us always. We are feeling very jubilant, very encouraging. Okay, but this happiness will not be there always. This also will go away. Again distress will come, again happiness will come, again distress will come, again happiness will come. This is life. We should learn to tolerate. Once there was a king. He is a very rich king, very powerful, very big kingdom was there. And he is very intelligent, and then he is having good scholars in his court. Once he calls up the scholars in his kingdom and he tells, I want one solution for all the problems. There are many problems are there in the kingdom, but I want one solution. By that solution, people should be able to solve all their problems. Then the scholars, they do research for very long time and they come up with a solution. And the solution they write in paper, and then they insert a diamond ring, and that diamond ring is presented to king. And they say that the solution for all the problems is there in this, but you should read the solution only when you have no other solution in the life for that problem. Okay. Then out of respect towards scholars, king very happily accepts that gift, and then he is ruling kingdom very happily. One day, suddenly, one enemy king attacks the kingdom. They are unaware, they are not ready to fight, but they are already inside the kingdom. They broke the fort wall and they entered inside the fort, and they came inside the king palace. And the king escaped from the palace. From the back door, he took one horse, and then on the horse he escaped. Then enemies came to know, then the soldiers are chasing that king. So king is riding the horse very fastly. Then he rode very fastly, and then the two ways are there, and then which way he is confused, and then he took the left side and then went to that way. If he moves one more step, the big valley, he will die. It is kilometers down. Then he is hearing the enemy horses tuk 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 like that, they are coming. Then they are approaching towards him. If he goes again back, they will attack. If he goes this side, he will die by falling into the valley. Then there is no solution for him. Then he is thinking what to do now. Then he remembers the solution of the scholars. He sees the finger. He opens the diamond ring and he sees the one cheaty, one slip there. Then in the slip it is written tolerate. So then he has no other solution. This is the only solution. Then let it happen, whatever it may be. I will face that. He is tolerated like the situation. Then enemy horses are approaching towards him. Suddenly sound starts decreasing. That means they are taking the right way, right side way. Then they went off. The king was saved. Then he goes to one more kingdom of his friend and he tells all the situation what happened to his kingdom. And with his support, again he attacks his own kingdom and defeats and kills that enemy king, and again conquers his kingdom back. Then he entered the kingdom on a big elephant. All the citizens of that kingdom were very happy. They brought colorful scents, flowers, and then holy water, and then they are throwing on the king, and king is very happy to see all the citizens, and he is waving his hand like this. Okay. Then he happened to see again diamond ring. Tolerate. This also will go away. Okay. So this is how in our life the happiness and distress are impermanent. They'll come and go, like summer and winter seasons. We should learn to tolerate them. So otherwise, if you don't learn to tolerate, unnecessarily we are making the problem very big in our life. Tolerance is a wonderful quality that it avoids many problems in our life just by tolerance. And this is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna also. Learn to tolerate. You need to, in the performing your duty, you may having difficulties, but learn to tolerate and then execute your duty. This is what Krishna is telling. Then Krishna tells, this is the eligibility for liberation. One who is having tolerance, he is eligible for liberation. Not that when problem comes, we go to depression, and when happiness comes, we become exuberant and then jumping and dancing. So this is not the quality. Krishna is instructing all of us to be tolerant towards happiness and distress. This the quality is very much lacking in the current generation. But this is a very important quality for all of us. Then Krishna goes on describing the characteristics of soul. This is the knowledge I am telling. You don't find in any literature, from LKS to PhD, nowhere you will find in academic books. But this is the most important knowledge, and this is the basic knowledge in understanding spirituality. This is the first step of spirituality. What the Krishna is telling? You are not this body, you are soul. And then he is describing characteristics of the soul. So what is the characteristics of soul? Once we are giving a class in one university on the occasion of retirement of a HOD of the department. Okay, then that HOD, he learnt all the class, and at the end he asked this doubt. What is this soul? What it is made of? And what are its characteristics? Okay. So this is a very interesting question. You will find answer in Bhagavad Gita very clearly. So Krishna describes 22 characteristics of the soul. 22 characteristics. First one, Krishna says soul is imperishable, avinashi, imperishable, and pervades entire body. Sarvam, ena sarvam idam tatam. The consciousness of the soul pervades entire body. It controls whole body. Then third thing, indestructible, avinasham. The soul cannot be destroyed. Fourth one, immeasurable, aprameyasya. You cannot measure the soul. Krishna tells the soul, the size of soul is 1/10th part of the tip of the hair. That means tip of the hair you take, you cut into 100 pieces, take one part, again cut into 100 pieces. This is the size of the soul. But Krishna doesn't define what is the tip of the hair. So that means you cannot measure. You cannot measure by scale or any tape, measuring tape. Nothing is can be done like that. So that's why it's called as immeasurable. And eternal, nityasya or sanatana. It's not temporary. Like body is temporary, but soul is not temporary. It is eternal, permanently exists. Then sixth one, no birth, najayate. Body is having birth, but soul doesn't have any birth. Na muryate, there's no death. Soul never dies. Then eighth one, unborn, ajaha. The body takes birth, but soul doesn't take birth. It is everlastingly existing. From the time of creation, it is existing. Then it is puratanaha, very old. That means there is no trace in history of the soul coming into being. That's why it is puratanaha. 10th one, immutable. That means you cannot cut the soul. Immutable, avyayam. Then 11th one, nor burned by fire. Nainam chintanti sastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. So you cannot cut the soul into pieces and you cannot burn in fire. We'll cut vegetables. We'll cut our hand all sometimes. Body you can cut like that. But soul you cannot cut like that. And burnt, you cannot burn the soul also. Soul cannot be burnt. The body burns. Many material items burnt, but soul doesn't burn like that. And then kledayanti, that means you cannot moisten the water. If you go in rain, you will be drenched with water. You will be moistened. But soul is not like that. Then 14th, not withered by wind, marutaha. When the wind comes, heavy wind comes, will fly away. Okay, but soul cannot be done like that. It cannot be withered by wind. And then achedyaha, unbreakable. You cannot break the soul. And then 16th one, insoluble, akledyaha. If you put sugar into water, it will disappear. It will merge with the water, mix with the water. Salt also. But soul is not like that. It is insoluble. Then it cannot be dried. Ashoshayaha. It is present everywhere. Sarvagataha. The meaning of this word sarvagataha means the soul present in every planet. Earth, then Swargaloka, Patalokas, anywhere it can live. Sarvagataha. Okay? It present everywhere. The 19th, unchangeable. Sthanuhu. You cannot change the soul. Then immovable. Achalaha. And then invisible. Avyaktaha. You cannot see the soul by your material eyes. It's not possible. When we took previously one session about soul, people are asking how we can see soul. What is the proof of soul? They want everything to see bluntly, grossly, then only they will believe. Okay, but there are higher things out there which we cannot perceive by our eyes. Our eyes itself as having many limitations. Soul is beyond the matter. That's why you cannot see the soul. And finally, inconceivable, achintyaha. You cannot conceive the soul like that. So why Krishna is telling all these things? Krishna is telling all these things for Arjuna, to convince Arjuna. You are thinking you are going to fight and kill them, but who can kill the soul? Who can kill the soul? You are thinking you are the killer and they are going to get killed. It is not so. They are always existing. You cannot cut them, you cannot burn them, you cannot destroy them, nothing. Okay. So you should learn to fight. You should perform your duty. This is what Krishna is telling. This is why Krishna tells that sloka that Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. Some people look soul as amazing. So when we see all these characteristics, some people get amazed. Some people describe soul as amazing. Some people hear soul as amazing. Okay. Even though knowing all these things, some people cannot understand soul at all. Okay. So this is the mystery of the soul. Okay. So this soul never dies, but only body is having the birth and death, but soul never dies. Jatasi dhruva mutyur, dhrum janma mutasya cha. That means who have taken birth, they are going to die for sure, and who have died, they are going to take birth for sure. In this there is no doubt. So, but what is there inside the body, the soul, it cannot be killed. So Krishna fight on these religious principles. So this is Krishna is putting forward the arguments on the basis of Jnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga to convince Arjuna to fight. So this is the first part of this chapter number 2, contents of Gita summarized. Second part we will discuss in the next class. Hare Krishna.